Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button because today we're diving into something that could literally transform your entire life. Have you ever had someone say something to you and you just lost it, and hours later you're still replaying that conversation in your head, thinking of all the things you should have said? Yeah, me too. We've all been there. But here's the wild part. What if I told you that the actual physiological sensation of anger only lasts 90 seconds? That's it. Everything beyond that, that's all you, my friend. That's a choice you're making. Today, I'm breaking down the science and strategies behind emotional mastery, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how to stop letting people control your emotions. Let's get into it. The 90-second rule. According to brain researcher Dr. Bolte Taylor, when something triggers an emotional response, your body floods with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, all that stuff. But here's the kicker. That entire chemical flush completes its cycle in just 90 seconds. 90 seconds. That's less time than it takes to microwave popcorn. So why do we stay angry for hours, days, or sometimes even years? Because we keep the anger alive. We replay the incident over and over. We rehearse what we should have said. We tell the story to anyone who will listen. We're essentially choosing to re-trigger ourselves repeatedly. Think about it like this. Imagine you're watching a movie that makes you angry. The movie ends after 90 seconds, but instead of turning it off, you hit rewind and watch it again, and again. That's exactly what we do with our anger. The moment you understand this, you unlock a superpower, the ability to ride out that 90-second wave and let it pass naturally, instead of feeding it and making it grow. Your buttons are yours. Now, let's talk about this phrase, they really know how to push my buttons. Here's the truth bomb. Nobody can push your buttons unless those buttons already exist. And those buttons, they're unhealed wounds, violated values, or unmet needs buried deep inside you. Let's say someone criticizes your work and you explode with rage, but your coworker gets the same criticism and just shrugs it off. Same trigger, completely different response. Why? Because you have a button there, maybe childhood wounds around not feeling good enough, and they don't. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about taking your power back. When you realize that your buttons are yours, created by your past experiences, your values, your beliefs, then you can start to do something about them. You can heal those wounds. You can examine those values. You can meet those needs in healthy ways. The person who criticized you, they're not your enemy. They're just someone who accidentally bumped into a sore spot that was already there. And once you see it that way, everything changes. The choice point. So how do we actually change our response in the moment? Between every trigger and your response, there's a space. Viktor Frankl said it perfectly. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. To access that space, you need to develop what I call the observer self. When you feel anger rising, instead of thinking, I am angry, try thinking, I'm noticing anger arising in me right now. That subtle shift creates distance. It puts you in the position of observer rather than victim. This takes practice, but it's incredibly powerful. When you can observe your emotions without becoming them, you give yourself options. You can ask, is this response going to serve me? What would my best self do right now? That's the choice point. And the more you practice accessing it, the more freedom you have. Difficult people are your trainers. Let's talk about difficult people. We all have them in our lives, right? But what if I told you that these people aren't obstacles, they're actually your emotional trainers? Think about a personal trainer at the gym. They push you, they make you uncomfortable, they identify your weak spots. And yeah, sometimes you hate them for it in the moment, but you know it makes you stronger. Difficult people in your life are doing the same thing, except they're not doing it intentionally, but they are showing you exactly where you need to grow. That person who's always late and makes you furious, they're training you to set better boundaries. That family member who constantly criticizes you, they're showing you where you need to build stronger self-worth that doesn't depend on external validation. This reframe is revolutionary because it shifts you from victim to student. You're no longer at the mercy of these people. You're learning from them. Boundaries and timeouts. Let's talk concrete tools. First, boundaries. Healthy boundaries aren't walls, they're more like gates. They're intentional, flexible, and they let you control what comes in and what stays out. A boundary isn't, "You can never talk to me that way." A boundary is, "When you speak to me disrespectfully, I'll end this conversation and we can try again when we're both calm." See the difference? One is trying to control the other person. The other is controlling your own response. And when you feel yourself getting triggered, sometimes the best thing you can do is take a strategic timeout. This isn't running away, it's giving your nervous system time to reset. You might say, "I need to take a break from this conversation. Let's revisit it in an hour." During that timeout, you can use the 90-second rule. You can access your observer self, and then you can come back from a place of clarity rather than reactivity. This simple protocol prevents so many regrettable responses. Map your triggers. I want you to become a detective of your own emotions. Start creating what I call a trigger map. After you have an emotional reaction, write it down. What happened? Who was involved? What specifically did they say or do? And most importantly, what did it remind you of? What old wound did it touch? Over time, you'll start to see patterns. Once you can see your emotional landmines on a map, you can start stepping around them instead of on them. You can prepare for situations that typically trigger you. You can even start healing those core wounds. And here's another crucial skill: compassionate distance. You can care about people without absorbing their emotions. You can be supportive without taking on their drama. Think of it like being a lifeguard. A good lifeguard doesn't jump in and drown with the person they're saving. They stay on solid ground and pull the person to safety. You can love someone deeply and still maintain your emotional boundaries. The story you tell yourself. Here's maybe the most powerful insight. Your emotional experience isn't shaped by reality, it's shaped by the story you tell yourself about reality. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Story 1, "That jerk, they're so rude." Result, rage. Story 2, "Maybe they didn't see me," or "maybe they're rushing to the hospital." Result, mild annoyance or even compassion. Same event, different story, completely different emotional experience. So become aware of the stories you're telling yourself. Are they serving you? Are they even true? When you catch yourself in a story that's creating suffering, pause and ask, what's another way to interpret this situation? This isn't about being naive, it's about choosing interpretations that don't poison your own peace. Putting it all together. Listen, emotional mastery isn't something you achieve overnight. It's a practice. Some days you'll nail it, and some days you'll mess up completely. But here's what I know for sure. Every time you choose to observe your anger instead of acting on it, every time you set a healthy boundary, every time you reframe a difficult person in your life, you're building new neural pathways. You're training yourself to respond differently. And over time, these conscious choices become automatic responses. That's when everything changes. So start today. Pick one technique from this video and commit to practicing it this week. Map your triggers. Take a time out. Reframe one difficult person in your life. Your emotional freedom is worth it. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling me which technique you're going to try first. I read every single comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.